Can the future influence our past? I'm sure at first your answer was the same as mine. A hard no. What on earth are you talking about? But after some hard-earned thought and pondering, you will learn that the future does influence the past, just as much, arguably, as the past influences the future. Now, I won't just be using examples from our favorite movies to prove this, but real-life, psychological, and historical examples. Next slide, please. Now, psychologically, there have been many cases of the future influencing the past, or at the very least, our perception of it. One example is repressed memories. The theory of repressed memories is essentially this. When a child undergoes a great deal of trauma in their formative years, they tend to either suppress or disassociate from that trauma, pushing it down into their subconscious, never to be remembered for the rest of their adolescence. However, when an adult, that child will eventually have a trigger sprung in their brain. This trigger will cause the memory to rise back to the surface, and immediately a multitude of explanations for behaviors, reactions to certain stimuli will arise. Another example of this could be the golden child versus the scapegoat. The golden child is the preferred child of the family. We may not know why. Maybe they're the preferred gender. Maybe they do better in school. In some cases, they may have survived a life-threatening illness. But for whatever reasons, the golden child is on a pedestal and the scapegoat is on the floor. The golden child is showered with love, affection, care. All of their mistakes and all of the bad things they do are obviously the fault of the scapegoat. The golden child will probably look back on their childhood with love. They had a wonderful childhood. Their parents were loving and kind. But with a lot of therapy and a lot of realizations, they will come to the realization that their happiness and love came at the expense of their siblings. You may be wondering what this has to do with the future influencing the past. It is as simple as this. Things we learn in the future drastically alter our perception of the past. A very, very major occurrence of this happens in history. Now, I'm sure we've all played the board game on the screen. Monopoly? Is there anyone here who hasn't played that game as a child? Well, until recently, Monopoly was credited to Charles Darrow, the man on the screen. It wasn't until years and years later that it was discovered that the game was actually invented by Elizabeth Meiji Phillips, and her idea was stolen by Charles. This happens so many times throughout the course of history. White men taking the credit for inventions and discoveries made by women or minorities. Now, for something a little bit more theoretical and scientific. Unsolved mysteries. This is the city of Harappa, a wonderful, thriving civilization. We have no idea what happened to it. To this day, there is no clue as to how Harappa went from a thriving civilization and beautiful cities to these ruins. And for that, I propose time travel. Now, as we've all learned from our favorite movies, using the future to alter the past doesn't always end well. Hence, I've come up with a different solution and a different use for time travel. Instead of using it to change our past, use time travel to discover it, to understand all of the mysteries that to this day we do not understand. The Black Dahlia, Jack the Ripper, unsolved cases with ghosts that may never be put to rest. And I know what you're thinking. Right now, scientists have said that time travel is impossible. But 1,000 years ago, they were saying that about heart transplants or aeroplanes, and look at us now. Furthermore, our future is constantly influencing our life. Every decision that you and I make is with thoughts of our future. They're intrinsically connected. Every single choice you make, every single thought you have is in regards to the future. Even something as simple as which way should I take to college today? If I go the shorter way, I'll reach there on time. But if I go the longer way, I'll have more time to study for that exam I haven't revised for. But in all seriousness, it's the essence of humanity to live for the hope of it all, to put every single thought and fiber of our beings into our future. Think about it. Have any of you made a single decision that isn't in regards to your immediate or potentially future? So, to conclude, I would like to say that our future and our past can never be separated from each other. They will always be connected, and they will always be a part of each other. So yes, the future does influence the past. Thank you.